Big up, big up, big up. Welcome back to the channel. 12th Man's back. The Arsenal Talk Show is back, where we go through all transfers, news, and other stuff in terms of fixtures coming up. We have got games that we are going to have to talk about thick and fast. They're coming yet again. We've got Girona away tomorrow evening, and we've got Manchester City at the weekend that we're going to look into. The rest of it's supposed to be transfer talk, but Arsenal ain't doing much yet again. Arsenal still not signed anyone. It is the 28th of January, and Arsenal still have no signings in the bag. My goodness, what are we doing? Do we have a transfer team? Do we have anybody on the board that deals with transfers? Is the manager actually awake that we need players? Are the Cronkies interested in even talking to us about what we might require? I don't really know is the answer to those questions. I have absolutely no idea what's happening with Arsenal right now. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to be taking any rush in this transfer window. I mean, to get to the 28th of January and not have done anything is just absolutely abysmal, in my opinion. And unfortunately, we're in a scenario right now. It doesn't look like things are going to change unless something happens drastically in the next coming days. Obviously, we've got till Monday. A lot of people think it shuts on Friday, but it's not. It's actually on Monday, apparently, when it shuts. So we're going to be here to talk all things Arsenal and transfers. Big up to every single one of you that's in the chat. Please do me a favor and hit the like button and hit subscribe. Please make sure that you do that, people. It would be really good to get the likes and the subscriptions up. So please make sure that we hit those two buttons. They're absolutely free and they mean so much to the channel. Also, let's follow Reality Raffles. If you're not done so already and you've not put in for Reality Raffles, then please make sure that you do. There is an unbelievable opportunity for you to win £100,000 worth of cash. All you've got to do is go to Reality Raffles, click on the link in the description, make sure you're following them. There is a hell of a lot of tickets available, and there's a chance for you to win £100,000 in cash. So please make sure that you are in that to win it. Great opportunity to make yourself very rich. And what would you do with £100,000? Maybe you can put some of it towards Arsenal, because they're skint at the moment, apparently got no money. So make sure you do give that a go, people. There's an unbelievable opportunity to win a brand new Mini Cooper as well. So please make sure that you are on that, because there's a great opportunity for that as well. Go check them out. Reality Raffles, they've got football prizes as well. They've got concerts. They've got other opportunities for tickets. So please make sure that you are over there and you're buying the raffle tickets to get in with a chance. A few people I know that have been very successful over there. So please make sure that you go over to Reality Raffles and show them some love, because they've been great to us. Let's talk football, shall we? Yeah, there ain't much to talk about when it comes to Arsenal transfers, but there are rumours indeed, which is what we're going to discuss today. There's definitely movement, but I don't know if you're going to be happy with what we're about to discuss. So let's see, shall we? Let's take a look. A couple of people asking about what happened to Race for Europe. Yep, that'll be back as normal next week. There was problems last night. There was issues, and people were unavailable. I was unavailable, so that will come back. So please don't worry about that. That has not been stopped to that show for sure. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of Arsenal Football Club, shall we? Because we need to talk about the Lewis Skelly situation very quickly before we go into transfers. What's happening here then? Well, Arsenal have submitted an appeal to overturn Miles Lewis Skelly's red card against Wolves. Sky Sports News understands that we have spoken to them. Mikel Arteta in his interview was quite vocal about it, saying that he doesn't think we should need to. It should just be potentially just rescinded. It's not going to get rescinded, is it? The referees have all stuck together. The referees believe it's out of order that Michael Oliver has been abused, which I agree with. So they're definitely not going to say it's out of order 1 minute and then go, yeah, but he got it wrong, rescind it the next. I think Lewis Skelly's going to miss the next 3 games, which is a shame because he's been one of our better players. He'll play tomorrow night, but he will miss the next 3 Premier League games, including the Manchester City one. So that is definitely going to cause some problems for us at left back. But we've got Calafiori back now, so hopefully he can get a run of the games. I do believe personally that Lewis Skelly has been better than him. I will say that. I think he's our best left back. But he's going to miss the next 3 games, which sees him out of Manchester City. It will actually see him out of the Newcastle game in the Carabao Cup because it counts for that as well. And the Leicester City game as well. So they're the next 3 that he's going to miss. Look, I don't think personally Anything will happen. I think they'll just say his studs were up. It went down his leg. You can see why Michael Oliver's given a red card. So we're going to stand by it. That's what they're going to say. It's a madness, in my opinion. But look, is what it is. Is what it is. Arsenal's training session today. Charles Watts has given an update. We were training today and at the Sober Realty Training Centre, which used to not be called that, but it is now. Marino, Erdegaard and Havertz were all seen training, but there was still no Ben White and Tomiyasu. Now, if I'm honest with you, I'm not so worried about Ben White because he's fairly durable. The reason he is out is actually because of the other player, and that is Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu has not been seen, people. He was out for a few weeks back in August, and we have not seen him other than 6 minutes at Southampton. That is a shocking, shocking season. Now, people will say it's not his fault because of injury. I agree with that, but we need to move him on in the summer. He is a player that we just need to just terminate the deal and say it's not worked. See you later. He's not going to get any money for him. Anyone who wants to pay more than 5 million for a player that doesn't kick a ball are stupid. I think he was bought for about 16 million, something like that. So it hasn't worked out, if I'm honest. It hasn't worked out. We need to get into a situation where we are trying to clear out some of these injury-prone players, and he's one of them. He's one of them. But Tomiyasu's still not in training. Ben White's still not ready. I think he's done some training softly on grass, but he's only just come back onto the grass. So Ben White's going to be a good couple of weeks away. Tomiyasu, I'm just not even going to... I'll pretend we don't have him. And he's the reason that Ben White's injured, by the way, Tomiyasu, because he couldn't come and give him any rest when he needed it. And then he obviously had to go and have his operation as a protocol because of that. So look, I'm not interested in Tomiyasu. I'm sorry. I like him as a player when he plays for us. Like the fact that he comes on, but I just get frustrated when I look at what is he actually like. Let's be real. He can play in a number of positions, versatile. I think he can play centre back as well as both fullback positions, but he ain't fit enough, is he? Ben White and Timber, I think, will remain at the club. Calafiori and Lewis Skelly will remain at the club, and Gabriel and Saliba will. But what's going to happen in the backup situation with Kivior and co? Are they going to go Zinchenko, Kieran Tierney, and Tomiyasu? I think he has to be added into that list now. I really do, because we just don't see enough of him. The official match referee this weekend will be Peter Banks. He's been appointed as ref for Arsenal's home game against Manchester City, and Paul Tierney will be on VAR. Does anyone care about this anymore? Like, I could not give a damn who the referee is anymore. They're all rubbish. Michael Oliver and Anthony Taylor are two that I do not want to be seeing referee at Arsenal, but we've got to share it round. But are these guys any better? Like, are these guys actually any better? I mean, Peter Banks, what's he like as a referee? Does anyone think he's good? Does anyone rate him in comparison to some of the others? Like, this is the thing. Like, I don't actually care anymore. Like, Michael Oliver is someone I don't want to be the ref. But other than that, I don't think it matters who they are, to be fair. Then we come on to the news from Gunner Blog that suggests that Nypan is expected to decide on his future before the transfer deadline day. He's returned to Norway. Arsenal have awaited his decision, having felt they were well positioned to sign him. They're now hoping they've not been beaten by another suitor. Let me know in the chat if you know who this guy is. He's an attacking midfielder from Norway. Let's look at what stats he's got so far, because I do not know anything. He's over at Rosenborg, so he's playing over there. And he is, at the moment, a player who's got 8 goals and 7 assists. To be fair to him, this season, 28 games, 15 goals and assists. He's 18 years old. He's a central attacking midfielder. He's clearly going to be in the Martin Odegaard ilk. He's not someone that I look at and think, wow. But is he actually someone that's going to come in and be ready? I don't think he's going to come and be ready now. I don't know if Mikel Arteta sees him as an attacking 8, an attacking 10, someone who's behind Ethan Nwaneri, someone to support Ethan Nwaneri, someone to provide cover for Martin Odegaard, someone to play alongside Martin Odegaard that perhaps he can be a role model to if he's a fellow Norwegian. I'd have no idea about this signing. And if I'm honest with you, it doesn't excite me because it's not a player I look at that should be anywhere near Arsenal's radar for now. More than happy for us to sign him, but he better be alongside someone who's going to come in and actually do something. Because I'm sorry, I can't get behind an 18-year-old this window in a position that again we are kind of looking at strengthening with someone who's only a year older than Ethan Nwaneri. You know, we should be at this stage where if we're looking at attacking midfielders, we should be looking at the Florian Wirtz of this era, of this ilk. We should be looking at Musiala. We shouldn't be looking at Nypan. We shouldn't be looking at someone who's going to come in at 18 years old that's going to give a little bit of strength and depth to Ethan Nwaneri. Like, let's just be real. Look, I'm sure that he's going to be um, a good player for the future. And maybe I'm sleeping on this one and he's an absolute baller and we need to bring him in because he's the next best thing. But does this really excite anyone? That's all I will say. Does he excite you? He's playing in the Norwegian league for Rosenborg. He's obviously got goals and assists. He's clearly a creative player. I like that. Last season, he got 5 goals. This season, he's already got 8 goals. Say that, though, they've come to an end of their season, really, haven't they? 28 games. Well, they're coming to more of an end, I suppose. Born in 2006, 18 years old, over in Norway. Current team, Rosenborg. He joined them in 2022, where he got 2 appearances. Then season after that, 23 appearances, 5 goals, 1 assist. This season, 28 appearances, 8 goals and 7 assists. And you can see that he's clearly got the ability. But that's in this league. Like, he's got to bring that form over, hasn't he, to England? And Mikel Arteta, how much of a chance is he actually going to give him? I don't know, is the answer. I really don't know. So that's Nypan. More on him in a minute. Arsenal's board are prepared to spend if they find a striker who they feel can raise the level of the squad. At the moment, the emphasis is more on a centre forward than a wide player, with Kai urgently in need of competition and cover. Let's click on this more because there's more to it. Gunnerblog says that with long-term targets Sesko and Isak appearing to be out of reach, Arsenal are exploring a number of different options. Mikel Arteta would like to add a player who's capable of making an immediate impact. Right, there's a lot here. There is a lot here. There's a lot going on here in this paragraph. Let's break this down. Before we do that, there's 400 of you in here. Do me a favor, hit the like button, people. Let's put us in a good mood. Hit the like button, and that means Arsenal will sign someone. There we go. They should all fly now. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well, which is free, because we're getting close to the big 4-0 now, and we're creeping up. Let's break this down. Let's start with the first sentence. Arsenal's board are prepared to spend if they find a striker who they can feel raise the level of the squad. Right, let's stop there. Is there a striker out there that can raise the level of our squad? Let's just tell you the squad at the moment. Havertz, done. Right, we move on. So yes, the answer is there is players out there that can raise the level to him. Whether it's Sesko, whether it's Osimhen, whether it's Gyökeres, whether it's Isak, whether it's João Pedro, I don't care. Throw names at me in the Premier League if you want. They all have a chance to raise the level of what Arsenal have got right now. So that first sentence should be exciting as far as the board are concerned, because there are players out there. The emphasis is more on a centre forward than a wide player, because Havertz is in urgent need of competition and cover. So that means we're going to get a striker if we get one that's out there that can raise the level of the squad. There is, and I've just given examples of which. The long-term targets, Sesko and Isak, appear to be out of reach. So we're exploring different options. Let's just stop there. So Isak's out of reach. I agree with that one, because in the summer, he could be available, but it's going to cost a hell of a lot of money. He's definitely out of reach in January. If he's out of reach in the summer, it's because we haven't got 150 million to plonk down on him, right? Sesko, how's he out of reach? How is Sesko out of reach? This is a 21-year-old who plays for Leipzig, right? That we are being told is probably around 70 million pounds. If they don't want to sell him or sign him, we sign him in January. How is he out of reach? Surely in the summer we'll get him. And how can a 65, 70 million pound player be out of reach when you're Arsenal? Because I was told that when we get into the Champions League, we'll be able to go and buy X, Y, Z, not Raheem Sterling and Mikel Merino and Neto and these men. So it says, lastly, that Arteta would like to add a player who's capable of making an immediate impact. Would Sesko make an immediate impact? I don't know, because he's never played in this league. Yeah. Would Nypan make an immediate impact? No, I don't think he would, because he's 18 and he's come from the Norway League. Why are we doing this? The player out there that will make an immediate impact is Victor Gyökeres, because he's bang on fire. He's on form, and he's come and played in England before. Other than Isak, which is the obvious choice, surely it's Gyökeres next. I can understand why people might have question marks under Victor Osimhen, but I would take Osimhen over the other guys because he's been balling for Napoli and he's been scoring goals for Galatasaray. If you look at Victor Osimhen's stats, they're impressive, right? Let's do it now. Victor Osimhen's stats. His stats this season, 12 goals in 15 matches. For Napoli, 15 goals in 25 matches, 26 goals in 32, and 14 in 27, and 10 in 24. So he's basically got well over double figures, and he's doubled that double figures in one of the seasons that they won the league. And for Galatasaray, he's only 15 games in and he scored 12 goals. So he definitely 100% is worth taking a punt on. Sesko's stats, for him, he's got 14 goals in 31 and 8 in 18. So Victor Osimhen is clearly scoring more than him more consistently over a more consistent base. I don't get what we're doing here. It's absolutely crazy. Let's just go and get Victor Gyökeres. If we can't get Gyökeres and Isak's unavailable, go and get Osimhen. If you can't get Osimhen and you don't want Osimhen, go and get Sesko. If you want a Premier League proven striker, go get João Pedro. Why are we in this position, man? Why are we still worrying about, who can we get? I'd like to tempt Sesko. Oh, no, otherwise we'll wait till the summer. Did Frankfurt want to sell Omar or Marmoush? No, they didn't. But Man City put the money down and we got him. Like, why are we not doing this? Man City didn't say, we'll wait till the summer. Man City said, we need him now. We'll give you 50 million. Whatever it be. Honestly, man, it's absolutely crazy. It really is. Another bit of news, Aiden Heaven. Not really a player that I thought was going to be anything special. But he has gone to Manchester United. It says here a few hours ago from The Athletic that he was close to being offered a professional deal by the club. United are close to an agreement. He's gone. So that's needed updated because he has actually left. He has gone to Manchester United alongside Chido Obi Martin, who's the top scorer at the moment in the under-18s league. A baller, absolute baller. I don't think Heaven's going to be any big loss, if I'm honest. I mean, he couldn't get into the first team ahead of some of them. But let's just be real. I don't think he's a next level centre half. So I'm not too fussed about this one. It's just a bit bizarre that Manchester United are signing him. And then it brings us on to John Duran. Let's talk about John Duran, shall we? Because Aston Villa are looking like that he is the one they're going to get rid of in January. They both want to play, Watkins and Duran. Emery only wants a lone striker. They can't play together. So he's getting rid of one. And Ollie Watkins is Aston Villa's man. So that means John Duran is available. And he's a player I like, but he's not on my list of priorities. He would probably be fourth on the list of priorities. Isak's number one, Gyökeres number two. Then I'm going down to Victor Osimhen. Then I'm probably going Duran and then Sesko. That's what I'm looking at. I think Duran would be a good signing for Arsenal. Premier League proven. Him and João Pedro are the two I look at from Premier League that I would take because they're good age, on form, playing well, at good clubs. And I think they've got an opportunity to grow. And John Duran at 80 million would be available. There's a lot of suggestions that he would be. Now, today, Fabrizio Romano said on YouTube, what I'm told is that Arsenal made a call in recent weeks to understand the situation of John Duran, but there has been no bid, no direct negotiations with Aston Villa. That's come from Fabrizio Romano, apparently, in one of his YouTube videos. Now, if we have actually rung up Aston Villa to ask for the situation to be explained, they would have said he's available, but for this money. If there's been no bid or negotiations with Villa, we either aren't interested or we're considering it. Now, if it's £80 million, I actually think that's a good deal. I do think it's a good deal. It's a hell of a lot of money, but sometimes you've got to just get it done. And I think that if we're looking seriously at that being the price, it's clearly going to be around 65 to 70 that he goes for. So if you're looking at 65, 70 for Duran, similar price for Sesko, similar price for Gyökeres, similar price for Osimhen, you've got to pick someone. You've got to. Yeah. I think it could be a good deal to get Duran. I wouldn't want to pay that much. I think it's a hell of a lot. But Arsenal are Muppets. They've left themselves in a situation where we're desperate. We might have to now. This is the problem. If we would have actually negotiated with Villa on the 1st of January and said, look, we know it's just opened. We do want him. Let us know how much you want. We've got 4 weeks to get this deal sorted. And we haven't. We've waited until the 28th of January, and now it's only just being reported that we might be interested in John Duran. Chelsea are apparently interested. That means Chelsea will get him ahead of us. That's what will happen. Because Chelsea will pay 80 million for him because they don't care. Chelsea have got Disasi to offer him in loan. Chelsea have got Felix to offer him back in loan. Apparently, Emery's interested in both of those players. So I can see John Duran going to Chelsea. West Ham have been interested and a bid rejected of 57 million. It means that it's going to be above 60 million for them to even consider it because they rejected 57. So is he worth that much? I mean, he's had 6 months at Villa, which he's done well with. Does that mean he's now 80 million pounds? Not for me. I mean, I don't actually think he takes us to the next level. I just think it's a good now signing. We still need to go and get someone in the summer, excuse me. So this is where I'm at. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just do not bloody get it at all. It makes no sense, like at all. That we're at the 28th of January and we're still not wondering who we're getting. We're still having links loosely with players, and now it's John Duran who's the next one. Look, I do like him. I do like him. He's a player that, I think a lot of people would take. I know that, Judges and Andy both said they want him. Do you want him in the chat? Do you want John Duran? Is that someone that you think takes us to the next level? I'm not sure if he does. I think Duran potentially gets us double figures this season if he comes in and plays every game. He won't play every game. He'll share it with Havertz. Does he want to do that? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he's probably worth about 45, 50 million, John Duran. That's what I think he's worth. You're probably going to have to play closer to 70 for him to get him out of Villa. But if he's starting to make murmurs that he wants to leave, then Villa will have to either drop the price or keep him unhappy. And that's a hard decision for them to have to make. Look, I don't know what your thoughts are. John Duran for 60 million, yeah, maybe. But John Duran for 80, that's a bit ludicrous, really. Let's just be real. You'd rather go and get Gyökeres for that money, Anyway, then we go on to Kieran Tierney. Celtic are expected to approach Arsenal to discuss conditions of a loan deal. Celtic are close to agreeing pre-contract terms with Tierney for a permanent move in the summer, but they'd like him earlier for the Champions League knockout stages. Now, I can see this one happening on the last day of the window. I think he'll end up going there on loan with an option to buy in the summer, and he'll go and he'll move to Celtic, which, to be fair, I'd be happy to see him do because I think he needs to go revive his career, play regular first-team football. At the age of 27, he's done a lot injury-wise, of course, but he's actually played a hell of a lot more than games time than many of our players. In fact, to prove it, he's the most played left back in Mikel Arteta's 5 years at the club. So he can't be injury prone because he's played more than the others. So it means he's less injury prone than Tomiyasu. He's less injury prone than Zinchenko, and he's played more than Calafiori, Timber, Tomiyasu, and Tavares at left back. So let's be real. I like him. Would have kept him, but Mikel Arteta don't want him. I don't get it, but I want him to go now because it's not fair keeping him here. The way he's been treated has been absolutely horrendous. I mean, it's absolutely shambolic. He's not even been updated a picture. He's not even been given a picture on the screens at the Emirates and in the website. It's an old picture with the old kit on. He's not even been given a new kit. That's how bad they treat this player. It's just, yeah. Be called bullying in the workplace nowadays, but anyway, he's got to move. He's got to move on. and revive his career. We're going to need a new left back in the summer, though, unless he sticks with Calafiori and Lewis Skelly as our left backs, which I think he probably will do. Timber as well. Timber will be the kind of cover at left back, I think, if we were to play him there. So we'll have White and Timber at right back, Timber that can play left back. And as left backs, we'll have Calafiori and Lewis Skelly with Timber that can play left back. That's what I think will happen. Tomiyasu will end up keeping him because no one will want him. Mikel Arteta will say, oh, he's had a bad injury this season, even though he's had one for 4 years running, and we'll end up keeping him. So it's going to be the centre-back position we're going to need to sign in the summer. Now, you've got Gabriel and Saliba, so it's very hard now to bring in two centre-halves that are going to be backup. But I expect Kivior to leave, which means we're going to have to bring two kind of young centre-halves in that we think are going to be next level. Maybe we're going to look towards Yoral Harto and maybe the young Feyenoord lad. Maybe we'll look at two players like that are in their 20s that are going to try and fight for a first-team place. That's what I imagine we'll probably end up doing. Richard speaking on the worst red card in Premier League history. I don't even want to talk about that again. Another report here from Graham Bailey suggesting that Arsenal remain confident of signing Nypan from Rosenborg this week. Arsenal expect the player to make a decision regarding his future. There's a lot of talk and reports suggesting that he's got Girona that are interested as well. Gary Jacob is saying that Girona were part of the Manchester City group, perhaps meaning he potentially moved to Manchester City later on in life. But at the moment, it looks like he's interested in Arsenal. Fabrizio's spoken on Arsenal's links to a forwards. He says, I'm sure that in private they're working hard. We'll try to find out who they want to bring in. But obviously, the dream target remains as Alexander Isak. This is not a player who'll be leaving in January. So Romano I really like. But the problem with Romano lately is he talks about rumours. He doesn't talk about his own stuff. So he's discussing quite a lot lately, I've seen, on, this rumour come out, Fabrizio. What do you think? And he'll give an opinion on it. And then people think it's happening. And it's like, well, it's not come from him. It's a rumour that he's heard. And he's saying whether he believes that would be a good signing or not. And most of the times on those, they just say, yeah, they're working on that. They're looking at that as a possibility. It's all very clever how it works. All very clever. But look, if Alexander Isak is our number one, right? If he is literally our number one, then we ain't getting anybody until the summer because he ain't going anywhere. And that's if Newcastle finish outside of Europe. Otherwise, he'll stay. And I think Newcastle have got a great chance of coming in the top 6, definitely. And I think that keeps Isak happy for now. I mean, Isak will leave Newcastle one day. That's not a debate. He'll end up going because he's too big for Newcastle, right? But the problem you've got is when. Arsenal would like him now. I don't think he's going to leave. And I don't think Newcastle are going to actually sell him. He is going to be 120 million minimum, leading up to 100. He's going to be the most expensive Premier League transfer. That's what he'll be. That is what he will be. Interesting. Ian Wright speaking on the Lewis Skelly stuff. Apparently, Nypan was in London on Sunday night ahead of talks with Arsenal. The player currently weighing up his options. Arsenal are also continuing to explore options to add a forward this week. So if we was to get Nypan and a forward, would you be happy with that? Let's say we got Nypan and John Duran. Would that be a good window? I mean, it probably would because we've got a striker in that we want that's realistic, that's Premier League proven. But I can see Chelsea getting John Duran. And I can see Arsenal missing out on a forward. Because if we get this Nypan in and that's our window, sorry, that's just a joke. Let's be real. Absolute joke. Looks like Lewis Skelly is close to finalising a new long-term contract as well. So watch this space on this one. Let's head over to the other Arsenal transfer news as well, shall we? I do like to look at all stuff that we can look at. Okay, here we go. As I said earlier, this Nypan deal, it sounds as if, yes, he's interested, but there's suggestions that we fear that he'll join Girona because it's part of the City football group. And then perhaps later he'll move on to Manchester City. That's come from Gary Jacob. A lot of the times that I'm seeing players linked with Girona, it's because they're going to end up at Manchester City one day. A little bit like Savio, I suppose. He's obviously a highly rated kid. He's done really well at Rosenborg, it seems. 18 years of age, 15 goals and assists in 28 games. So he does have creativity. My problem is I don't know enough about him still. I just don't know enough about him. I've got to be really honest. We've also got the news that Heaven has gone to Manchester United that we spoke about, and there is news here about John Duran making a call in recent weeks to understand the situation. That's come from Romano, but has it? Has it actually come from Romano, or is that just something that he's heard? That's what I will say. Uh, the other news is Nico Williams. Apparently, Spurs and Arsenal are both willing to pay the release clause for Nico Williams. The 22-year-old is a player who a lot of people saw in the Euros and he absolutely lit it up. But the problem with that is I just don't know that he's had the best of seasons. Let's see what his stats are right now. Nico Williams. I'm sure he scored like 2 goals or something. Yeah. 1 goal and 3 assists. Last season, he had 5 goals, 11 assists in 31 games. This season in 19, right? So he's 12 short. He's got 1 goal and 3 assists. That is poor. That's worse than Martinelli, Trossard. It's about the level of Sterling. That's what his season is. A goal and 3 assists. I think that's what Sterling's got this season, isn't it? Let's have a look. What has Sterling got? Sterling in 8 games has got No, sorry, that's league games. Yeah, so in the 11 games that Sterling's played, he's got 1 goal, 2 assists. And Nico Williams has got 1 goal, 3 assists. My God. So I was right. It's not far at all off Sterling. So that's poor. So look, I do think Nico Williams would be a good signing because of the potential there. And you can't look at what he's doing at Athletic Bilbao and think that he's going to replicate that at Arsenal. Mikel Arteta, I know for a fact, is obsessed with Nico Williams and wants him in the side on that left-hand side. I think the other 2 signings he wants to add to Williams are Zubamendi and Sesko. Do them 3 teams take us across the line, though? Are they needle movers? If I said to you now, Zubamendi's going to be coming to Arsenal with Kvaratskhelia and Isak, or now that Kvaratskhelia gone to PSG, maybe I'll put Lookman in there. Lookman and Isak are going to join Zubamendi in the summer. You'd be like, oh, okay, that's decent. But is Williams and Sesko as exciting as Isak and Lookman? A lot of people will say they've got potential to be better because they're younger. At 22 and at 21, they've definitely got the world at their feet and they've got unbelievable ceiling. But I need a player that's good in coming in now. I mean, Mikel Arteta is saying he wants immediate impact. So, for real, are we getting an immediate impact in those 2 players? I don't know that we are getting immediate impact in those 2 players. Like, that's what I'll say. But look, I like him. I like the players. I don't think they're going to take us across the line, so to speak. But I don't know that there's that many players out there that Arsenal are looking at the moment that can. Every single player that Arsenal look at, right, it has to be oh my God, this is a world-class player type. Because they're all going to cost 100 million. Like, you look at Isak, he's going to be over 100 million. I would like Florian Wirtz or Musiala to sit in behind them. They're going to cost an unbelievable amount of money. If Odegaard was to go 8 and Musiala or Wirtz were to go 10, I think we'd absolutely kill it with creativity, with Isak finishing off. I think that could get us across the line. But that's going to cost 200 plus million for those 2 players. I wanted Kvaratskhelia. I thought that would have been a great signing. Lookman was probably going to be a similar price. That's going to cost you 60 odd million. Nico Williams is going to cost you 50. That's fairly cheap, to be fair. If you want somebody over the right-hand side, then you're going to be looking at 50 million for Brian and Mbeumo, maybe Semenyo likewise. These players that we're looking at Premier League-wise, they're all going to cost a lot of money. Duran, they've just been told today, is probably going to cost 70 to 80 million. This is a hell of a lot of money for players that aren't going to get you across the line. So for me, we need to put that money in players that you go, right, they're ready now, hit the ground running, don't need 3 months bedding in, boom. And that's what our summer should have been. But instead, our summer was we're going to buy a backup goalkeeper that's going to make absolutely no appearances for Arsenal. We're going to sign Calafiori, who's going to need a season to bed in. Marino, who's going to need 6 months to bed in. And we're going to bring in Sterling, who everyone is having enough of, no one loves. And we're going to need to give him time to bed in and put an arm around his shoulder. That doesn't mean you go win a title. That just means you buy 3 squad players. Terrible. Ridiculous. Yeah, Adamola Lookman's injured as well. Good point in the chat. So he's not going anywhere. So, yeah, it's just mad. It's absolutely mad. It really is. Look, we might as well talk about Marcus Rashford very quickly. I think he wants abroad. And I don't want to be put in a situation where Arsenal are anywhere near it. A lot of people are talking about Marcus Rashford coming on deadline day. Some people are screaming at the screens now, going, no. I don't want Rashford anywhere near Arsenal, and I've been quite clear about that. I've always said that I thought he was one of the most overrated players, and he's got the mentality of a goldfish. I need people that are getting in, and they're going to take us across the line. And if we go anywhere near Rashford, it would be a disgrace, particularly after the comments Ruben Amorim's now made about how his mentality is poor. He would rather bring on the goalkeeping coach and play him. Poor. Absolutely poor. It really is. I'm sorry. It is so poor to have that as your kind of star boy. 375k a week. What'll happen is he'll end up going on loan. They'll pay some of the wages. The other team will pay the other bit of wages. I think he needs to go to a Dortmund, a PSG. Maybe he needs to go to an AC Milan. Maybe it is Barcelona who he wants to go to. But I think he needs a new kind of challenge abroad. If he comes to Arsenal, I don't want him anywhere near it. But if he does come to Arsenal, people will start to suggest that Mikel Arteta can save him. Tell me a player that Mikel Arteta has saved. Oh, he can rescue him. Who has he rescued in the past? Who? Havertz? You think he's been saved? Done anything? Sterling? Willian? Jorginho? Are these players he's saved and taken to a new level? Nah. No, they're not. So why do we believe that he's going to save these players? What players can look at Mikel Arteta and go, I'll tell you what, if it weren't for you, I'll be rotting on the reserves at this club? What? Who? Xhaka? What? Xhaka's left Arsenal and gone and won the league. He's not thanking Arteta, he's thanking Xabi Alonso. Sterling doesn't get enough time yet. Fair play. Fair play. Who else is in the chat? Martin Odegaard. That's fair. But it wasn't like he's saved. He just wasn't getting any game time at Real Madrid. They weren't ruining his career by like playing him and not getting the best out of him. We gave Martin Odegaard a chance, and it took him a couple of years to settle and prove that he was a top quality player. And now he is. That's probably the only one, but I don't know if he's been saved. I don't know. I don't get it when people use these terms. Oh my God, he's going to save Rashford. What? I mean, like, it's great. David Raya. David Raya was fine at Brentford. It wasn't being. I don't think people understand this. They're really crunching at straws. He saved. He was saved Ben White from Brighton as well. Got 50 million for him, Brighton. Oh, come on, no, we're doing too much here. I can't be dealing with these Arteta loving sessions. It's embarrassing if I'm honest. My God. You can't say that he was saved. Like, oh my God, come on. Let's be real. Like, let's just get it right. Mikel Arteta has made a couple of good signings and a couple of bad ones. I'm sure he saved Saliba from Marseille, or he saved Gabriel from Lille. What are we doing here? Like, it's unbelievable. You just signed players from a club that weren't as good as Arsenal. We didn't save anybody. Yeah, we certainly haven't saved Havertz from Chelsea. Like, have we? He won bloody Champions League over at Chelsea. And here, he's trying to be our number one striker and failing at it miserably. Like, come on, man. It's just mad. It really is. Like, some of the love that we have for people is just ridiculous. Arsenal fans not happy about Michael Oliver still. They're saying players get dropped if they don't play well. Managers get sacked if they don't get results. But the referees have no consequences. I don't want to get into that battle again or that debate again. I do think we're in a position where we need to move past it now. It's happened. We've got the 3 points. Let's move. We've appealed it. I expect it will be rejected. And old Lewis Skelly will have to, unfortunately, miss some games. We'll just have to go from there, to be fair, and see what happens. That's what we'll have to do. Okay, we have got a game tomorrow that I am going to touch on before we do come to a close. Before I do that, let's talk about some of the future of these players. So let's go through each department very quickly because it won't be long. The goalkeeping situation in January and the summer will have to be looked at because David Raya is definitely our number one, but we don't know what's happening at number two. We've got a player on loan that hasn't kicked a ball. We've got Tommy Setford, that's the youngster coming through. We've got other young goalkeepers at the club as well that are either coming back from loan or are in the youth academy. I think Setford will be the number three. I think we'll buy a number two in the summer. It will probably be Juan Garcia from Espanyol. They seem to be basically linked with him all the time. And then we'll have Raya as number one. That's what it will be. Two Spanish keepers. Then you'll have Tommy Setford coming through. I think that's what Arsenal will look like in the summer. Don't know anything about Juan Garcia. No idea if he's good enough. Don't know if he's going to be next level when he comes through the door. I don't watch Espanyol. So that would just be a backup goalkeeper. For me, I would just go and get a experienced goalkeeper that can come and sit on the bench, like Kasper Schmeichel over at Celtic. Somebody like that can come and sit and be relied upon when he comes into goal. That's what I would do. But if there's not somebody like that available, then maybe you will have to go for a young goalkeeper. The two right backs at the club we know are going to be Timber and Ben White. The two left backs at the club I think will be Calafiori and Lewis Skelly. Gabriel and Saliba will remain as centre halves, which means we are going to need two centre halves that are going to cover. Now, Yoral Harto is a guy we've looked at. Looks like Liverpool are really interested in him as well, and he could go there. There's the young guy that I can't say his name. I really cannot say his name. Let me try and find it. I like the look and the sound of him, though. He's a centre-back that can play right back, and I cannot remember his name. That is his name. I've got it. Geertruida, is it? Linked with him as well, or have been linked with him, as have Liverpool. So Liverpool and Arsenal are both linked with the same centre halves. Yoral Harto and that Geertruida, they can both play as centre halves. And fullbacks, I think that Mikel Arteta will like the look of that. So we need to bring in a couple of players like that. We'll get rid of Kivior. We'll get rid of Zinchenko. We'll get rid of Kieran Tierney. I think there's potential for us to get rid of Tomiyasu, but I do think they'll end up staying because nobody will want him. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I think we should be looking at setting up with. Then we go into midfield. I think Jorginho will probably go. Partey, I think, will be offered a new deal. And I think he'll probably sign maybe a 2-year extension. He's only 30, so it's not like he's going to be here for 5 years, 6 years, but he's probably got another couple of years at this level. And then we'll have Zubimendi coming in as well. Rice and Marino will be the number 8, but I still think we need to go and buy a number 8 because I see Rice as a 6. So I would be looking at a player, and we've got Miles Lewis-Skelly as well that can play there. Let's not forget that. But I do think we need a proper midfielder, a number 8 that I think takes us to a new level. Morgan Rogers, somebody like that, would be really good coming in. Bruno's not going to happen. Bruno Guimaraes, can't see that happening. So I think we need to go and look at maybe a Morgan Rogers or a player of that ilk. Then we go into the attacking midfield position. I think we need another player. But if it's going to be Nypan and Ethan Nwaneri that come and cover for Ødegaard, we won't be signing anybody else. That will be it. Then we look across the front three, and I think there's a lot of surgery that's needed. Jesus is not going to be available next season, and his future is definitely coming to a close as Arsenal. I think Trossard, I think there could be suggestions that he might leave, go to Saudi Arabia for a new challenge. He's rejected his contract offer, means he doesn't want to stay long term. So I think he might be gone. Sterling will be gone too. That leaves Martinelli, Saka and Havertz. That is it. Martinelli, Saka and Havertz, which means we need a front three. We need a striker, which I think will be Sesko. We need a winger, which I think this season it could get someone in like Cunha or maybe someone like that. If it's not, it will be the summer and it will be Nico Williams. And then I think we'll bring in some form of winger as well for Saka's cover. Whether we play Nwaneri there is another discussion, but I think we'll bring somebody in on the right-hand side. So maybe Brian Mbeumo or somebody like that. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how we go in the summer. This transfer window ain't going to be interesting, people. Nypan might be the only guy we get across the line if things are correct in the media. It doesn't sound like we're going to get anybody else other than that. I don't get why, but we're not going to. Let's just be real. It doesn't look like it anyway. It just seems a bit silly. What striker do you think we'll get? We've gone through Duran. The only other option would be Evan Ferguson on loan. I mean, my goodness. We can't get him on loan anyway because we've got Neto and Sterling. But my goodness, we do not want him. Thanks for the super sticker, my bro. I hope you're well. Big up to see you again. Absolute legend. Big up to Aaron as well. Make sure you're following Arsenal X-Rated TV. Big up to you, my bro. Cracking show on Friday, bruv. Well worth the money and time. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming along and for everyone for coming along. I really appreciate it. We'll be putting on another one in the summer, so we'll definitely keep you posted there. Let's move to tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we've got Girona. We are through in the top 8 pretty much already, unless we get a hammering of 4 or 5 goals against Girona, which I don't see happening. What I will say is I think we need to rotate. Manchester City play against Club Brugge, and they cannot rotate. They absolutely have to win this game. They must win this game. So that means they're going to have to put their strongest team out. So Manchester City are going to have a chance. They're not going to have the chance to rest like Arsenal are for the weekend. Arsenal need to be fully fit and fresh for this weekend's game against Manchester City on Sunday. That is why we need to go and rest tomorrow night. Now, I'm more than happy for Raya to play. Doesn't bother me about the goalkeeper. In the back line, we're going to have to play Tierney and Zinchenko as our fullbacks, right and left. Kivior comes in. And if I'm honest, you're probably looking at playing maybe Gabriel alongside him because Saliba's just come back. Something like that. Then in midfield, Jorginho comes in. Lewis Skelly, I'd go in left midfield, left 8 midfield because obviously he's got to play because he's out and suspended for the weekend's game. So I'd play him. And then I would play Ethan Nwaneri. On the right-hand side, Sterling. Left-hand side, Trossard. And then through the middle, I'd go with Martinelli. Or I'd play Trossard through the middle and Martinelli left. Bring on Marino. Bring on Butler, Deji. Bring on the kids. Just rest people. And let's go big for Sunday. Because on Sunday, it's different. Sunday, I'm playing our best team other than Bukayo Saka. On Sunday against Manchester City, Raya in goal, Timber right back, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, and then I would go Nwaneri right, Martinelli left, and Havertz through the middle. That's what I would do. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to rest to that level tomorrow night. I don't think he will. I think we might see Marino, we might see Jorginho, we might see Sterling, we might see Kivior, but I don't think we're going to rest to that level. I really don't. I think he'll probably play Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly. I think he'll go with Jorginho, Rice, and Nwaneri, Sterling, Martinelli, Havertz, something like that. And then I think he'll make some rotated subs. But I would, personally, definitely give Timber and Saliba a rest. I'd definitely be resting Havertz, and I'd definitely be resting Odegaard and Rice, because they're the guys that I think need rest right now. Rice is on fire. I don't want him to play every minute of every game again. Rice has been really good. You need to rest him for Man City, in my opinion. So let's see what happens. That game we win, in my opinion, I think it'll be a 1-0 to the Arsenal against Girona. And then we go up against Manchester City on the Sunday, which I will do a show before. So we'll talk more about that when we're next on. But I have to say, I'm in a position where I just want to get through that top 8, and then we see what we can win every single game-wise. We've got some nice little breaks coming up. There's rumours of a trip to Dubai in February when everyone's in the FA Cup. We've obviously got Newcastle in the second leg of the Carabao Cup, which I think we're out of. I don't think we're going to have any chance, if I'm honest, to win that game. I'm quite happy with that and content and have accepted that we'll go out of that. And I hope Newcastle win it, if I'm honest. I don't want Spurs to win it, that's for sure. And I don't really want Liverpool to win it. So hopefully Newcastle will win that, get them a trophy. I like them. Good fan base, good club. Need a trophy because they're starved of one. I can't believe it's been that long since they've won a trophy. It's mad, isn't it? Absolute mad. Crazy in the chat. Newcastle fan talking to Newcastle. Hope you're well, bruv. No, I'm not going to the game, mate. I'm not going to be at Newcastle this season. It'll be next season for me. But I shall definitely drop you a line if I do come up in the new season for sure, because I do love Newcastle, my favourite city. Absolutely unbelievable place. So yeah, enjoy that night, mate. All you got to do is score a goal, and we need 4 goals. So I'm sure you can score, mate. Yeah, look, we need to, in that game, all seriousness, if we want to go through it, we need to score first, and we need to do an Anfield 89. So we need to go 1-0 up, keep it 1-0, and then take it to penalties and win on penalties. That's the only chance I can see us getting. We're not going to win 3-0 at St James's Park. We've had 2 shots on target there. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely mad. So, yeah, it's absolutely mad. Dan, Newcastle haven't won a league since 27, but still have as many as Chelsea. Or, mate, I prefer you to Chelsea, that's for sure, bruv. So big up to you, Craig. I hope that you do well, mate, this season. I actually think Newcastle this season is still going to get into the... I'll tell you what, I'll finish off by saying this. I've changed my top 6 so much this season because it's that close. I'm going to try and do it in order. Top 6. I think Liverpool are going to win the league, unfortunately. I think Arsenal are going to come second. I think Manchester City are going to come third. I think Chelsea are going to come fourth. And I think Newcastle are going to come fifth, which leaves Forest sixth. That's what I think it will be. Chelsea are my only ones I'm not sure about because they look a little bit all over the place. But Newcastle were the first start of the season. They've now come into it. I put Newcastle fourth at the start of the season with 1 game a week. I really thought they could do it. But I just don't know that I think they will. So, yeah, that's what I'll go with. Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Forest. That's what I'll go with. 7th, I'm going to go for it. 7th. No, I'm not. 7th, I'm going to go Villa. And then 8th, I'm going to go Bournemouth. I don't think Spurs, Man United, any of those teams. I don't think Fulham will sneak into the top 8 or Brighton or Brentford or any of those. West Ham, Palace, Everton, Wolves, Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton, all those type of teams, I think they're going to be floating around the bottom half. And I think the 3 of them are going to definitely go down. I think come up, unfortunately. I'd love to see Ipswich try and stay up. It's only Wolves, really, the only team that might slip down there. So, yeah, put your top 6 in the chat for me. Let's do that to close. What is your top 6? Here we go. Nick's done it. He's got Liverpool to win the league, City to come second. Wow. Arsenal to come third. Newcastle 4th, Forest in 5th, and Chelsea 6th. So you've got the same 6 teams as me, but in a different order. I think Liverpool's fair. I don't think City will finish above Arsenal. But I do have them in the top 3. You've put Newcastle and Chelsea in different places to me. Yeah, I can see where you're going. Kieran says Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest. Fair play. Aaron says Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, and Forest. Yeah. Nuances of fate. Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Newcastle, top 4. Yeah, that's a fair top 4. Craig says Liverpool, blimey. Newcastle second. Wow. Newcastle second. I mean, I know you're a Newcastle fan, Craig, but wow. That's mad. You think Newcastle will finish above all of them 4 teams? Wow. You basically got to win every game now to the end of the season if you're going to do that. That's mad. Fair play to you. I love the optimism. Harry says Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Newcastle, Chelsea. Liverpool, City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest, Arsenal. Wow, you think Arsenal will come sixth, Wasim? Wow. Ruth says Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Forest, Villa, Chelsea. Fair play, Ruth. Mark thinks the top four will be Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Newcastle. Wow. Mark, fair play. Adam says Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Forest. No Chelsea at all. Wow. No Villa or Chelsea. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Arsenal. Yeah, some people think Arsenal are going to drop out of the top four. I don't think that we are going to come out of the top four. I really don't. I think we'll finish second. And I said that before a ball was kicked, and I stand by that. I think that's what will happen. So yeah. Let's see what happens. We've still got a few days left, people. Duran, is he on the move somewhere? What's happening with Nypan to Arsenal? Is he going to be the guy we bring in? What's gone on with Cunha? That's all gone quiet. Where is Marcus Rashford and Evan Ferguson going to end up? All of this will become clear in the coming days, so it's going to be very interesting to see. I do not want to end up with Rashford on loan. Let me tell you that, people. Do me a favour. Make sure you stay tuned. In half an hour, you're going to be on the football terrace with me and LB. So I'm going to redirect you over there. So please make sure you come join us. We're going to be laughing at Tottenham from what I can understand. Apparently, when they said, what should we talk about today? Everyone said, let's just laugh at how bad Tottenham are under Ange. Do you know what? It is that bad now that Tottenham just aren't even bothered anymore. They've not been bantering us for a long time because of how bad they are. But it's actually got to a stage where they've all just given up now. They have all just given up. It's crazy. It is absolutely mental. So we're going to redirect you all over there. Come say hello. Come spam in the chat. It's on at 3:30. So I'll see you in half hour. Get yourself a nice cup of tea, something to eat, and I will see you over there. Make sure you do me a favor and get involved in the £100,000 cash that can be won on reality raffles. Make sure you get your tickets in, people. There's a great opportunity. £100,000. Wow. What would you do with that? Nice holiday break. That's what's needed. Make sure you get the chance to win that. Reality raffles is the place that you need. So make sure you go there. Links in the description. And we will see you next time, people. I'll see you over at the terrace. Take care.